Okay, hello. So this is going to be LCM number 7 instead of in person just because a few of you could not make it. So the information this week is super, super important. So as an exec board, we decided to do it online so that everybody can hear, and also the fact that we are doing a Google form so that everyone has to fill it out. So everyone's interactive, and it's like we are having, an LCM in person. And again, if you do not fill it out by midnight tonight, you will be put on probation because I personally think that I have been super chill, super fun, not super fun, not to, forget I said that. But I've been super chill, and at Springco, like, my eyes were opened, and I really do need to be in that position where I am holding people accountable, and it's not always going to be fun, but I do need to say certain things, even if I don't want to. So, again, things are really going to change, and hopefully you will see that by the end of this LCM, and you will realize that. So, let's start. So, I'm just opening LCM number 7. If you guys want, you can look at that. If not, continue watching. So for the agenda, spring break catch up, we will put that in the Google form. You can just write one or two things, just to catch each other up. Not since we are not in person, can't talk about it. Then spring co update, aiesec at UMD so far, aiesec at UMD now, which will also go along with the tracker, planning for the semester, and membership reminder. Okay, so super, super important things. Hopefully, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but at the same time, this is something where I hope you guys want to hear the information, where I want you guys to hopefully want to get those 20 approvals and really, really become successful and have a name for Maryland. So, sorry, I keep saying so. Okay, Springco update. We had a lot of fun. We, on Wednesday night, hung out with Nagine's friends, slept there, super nice of them and super fun, and U Chicago, so cool. Then on Thursday, we got up and walked around Chicago, which was so much fun. We ate way too much food, and to be completely honest, we ate food, sat there for like 2 hours, talked, whatever, walked around for like half an hour maybe. Found a new place to eat, sat there for 2 hours, ate, talked, whatever, and did the same thing. Over and over again. Please. Okay, sorry about that. My dad called me. Anyway, so Springco update. Another thing, coming into Springco, I was super, super nervous about the fact that we do have 0 approvals, and I thought we were going to be the only LC in that position. Not happy that we're at 0 approvals, but I was happy, or I was more comfortable in the fact that there were, I think, 5 other LCs that were in our position. So also for you guys, like, to know that, like, we are not the only LC in the US that's like struggling to get an approval. Everyone's been in school probably longer than us because we really got back the latest. We're really, really new. And we are working hard, so we will eventually get those approvals, but just know that other people are in our position. And not that, I'm not saying it's okay that we have none, but I'm saying it's not really, not our fault. But I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I'm not the best with words. Anywho, okay, so aiesec at UMG so far. This was just to kind of reiterate and reflect on what we've done so far, what we're doing, how we're holding people accountable or not holding people accountable. And then the next part will be about how everything is changing. So, if we take a look back, we got here. It was great because we met the first week. We've been meeting every week in person besides this week. However, we do have 0 approvals. And that is all based on the fact that we are new. This is all a learning experience. Maybe we haven't been doing things, or we have not been doing things that are effective, or targeting things that are going to work, or, again, it's all dynamic, all learning all the time. But we do have 0 approvals. And then another thing, tabling has not occurred. And I think that honestly is my biggest problem with what's been going on so far. along with the fact that no class shouts. I think Wade is the only one that has done it. Not to, and if you have done it, I apologize that I did not say your name. So back to tabling. How it's going to work. How it's going to work is you guys on the Google form are going to tell me your availability, and from there we're going to make a set schedule every week. We're going to do we're going to do 2 days a week. Let's say 5 people and 4 people one day. So you're not tabling 2 hours every week, but if we need to do that, if we're not getting those approvals, we will have to do that. But for now, it's just 1 hour a week, 2 days a week, and the schedule will be set. And again, I said this before, but I didn't hold you guys accountable. If you cannot make your tabling that week because of some circumstance, whatever, you need to get that covered by someone else. You cannot just leave one person hanging. I talked to a lot of people at Springco, and they were talking about how they had to move tabling to nighttime, like 5 p.m. and later, because it just wasn't working. Either people weren't listening to them, or like they weren't attracting people, or people just were not busy, or not free, sorry. So if during the day is not going to work for us, fine, we're going to have to make alterations, or we're going to have to change the way that we're tabling. But yeah, let me move on. Oh, and another thing having to do with so far, we need to be more accountable, or honestly more respectful in telling us that whether or not you can make it to LCM that week. And hopefully you only miss 1 or 2 in the whole semester. You really shouldn't be missing more than that. And telling us 24 hours in advance. Like if you know your schedule, you know something comes up, you probably most likely know that within more than 24 hours. So it really is respectful to tell us within those 24 hours. And again, things happen, like last minute car accident, like siblings, family, whatever. Like totally understandable. But really, most times it should be 24, or 9.5 times out of 10, it should be 24 hours in advance. Okay, so then aiesec at UMD now. I'm just going to combine that with the with the tracker. So if you guys can open that, which I will do as well. Here we go. So on the LC dashboard, that's the first tab that you'll see. And that's basically just saying our LC name, our goal, which is 20, the name, wildfire. Not super, super important. But then the monthly goal that has all your names. And then on the month it says planned, achieved, planned versus achieved. And if you think about it, let's say in April, because this is the last week of March. Hopefully we really need an approval in March. Fingers crossed. We have a few people in the prospects. But in April, let's say all of us each get 1. That's 9 approvals right there, and that's freaking amazing. Like 9, and like that's really, really good. So one person, all you have to do is convince one person to go, one friend, one classmate, one person that you get assigned to on Expo, like one single person on a campus that's like 40,000. It should, if you just look at it like that, that should hopefully make it seem less intimidating or less difficult to do than you think. Okay, so then the next one, incentives. This is basically, not basically, this will become the online version of the Good Noodle chart. I forget to bring it each week. Totally my fault. I have the worst memory in the world, which is not an excuse, but I'm making it, yeah, whatever. So this way you guys will constantly be able to see it. And if you constantly are able to see it, hopefully that will be able to motivate you guys more to do more things. And so if you see like 150 points, that's $100 off your exchange. And that I think is super, super awesome because $100, like that's $100. Like that's a lot of money. And then 15 points, that's candy or like $5 Starbucks gift card. I think that's pretty fair, pretty decent. And then how you get those points is underneath. And again, we can change that. And one thing before I move on to the next tab, or actually I can move on to the next tab real quick. So the incentive, campaign scoreboard. So that's basically when you get those points, you will put those points in there for that month and we'll track it. And how many points you get, those things, whatnot. So this is also helpful if someone's doing really, really well. You're like, oh, hey, like, how'd you get all these points? Like, help me out. What are you doing? This, that. And we can really help each other out. Next tab, OGV activities. So this is super, super important. I will be a stickler with this if I have to. And at this point, I need to. Totally fine. So if you see how it's set up, it's name, OGV, which if you think of it as Nagin, because it is Nagin, think of it like that. And then Nick is the TL, so it's Nick's team, and then, which is all you guys, and from there. So if you see, it's tabling hours, which right now planned we have as 1, class shouts as 2. And again, this is all starting this week. So by Friday, everyone should have tabled for an hour, 2 class shout-outs, flyering we said is 8, and that means 8 flyers. So 8 individual flyers hanging up anywhere you want. That's 8 pieces of tape, 8 pieces of paper, hopefully, or that should be doable. And then miscellaneous, since we're doing this online and it's might take a little bit longer to figure out tabling hours and what that, there will probably not be any miscellaneous things unless you guys can think of anything for this week. But again, we will be tracking that each individual week. And that will be shown at LCM every single week. And another thing that we are going to add in LCM, which we did last term, which I found really, really helpful, is everyone goes up and says what they did for aiesec that past week. And that hopefully will motivate you to actually do things, because you don't want to walk up there and say, like, I did nothing. That's not a good look. So now these OGV KPIs, key performance indicators, this is basically, if you think as approvals, like getting an approval is like a long line, tracking these things is like tracking like a chunk of the line. And then when you put it all together, you have an approval. So EP meetings, everyone should be going on 1 EP meeting a week. And this can be anyone, or it should be everyone, but it can be anyone that you meet. Talking about aiesec, tabling, whatever, like everyone should be having 1 EP meeting a week. Apply, that's how many of your people, like someone you're an EP manager for, how many people apply. And we're saying 1 a week. And then approved 1 a week, but our real goal is like once a month. So that can be adjusted. Then it's just contact lists, important links, and that kind of whole thing. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too torturous and too boring, but I really do want the best for the LC. I want us to make a name for Maryland. I want us to continue the growth that we are doing. I want, when I leave, because I'll be a senior next year, so in the spring, so a year from now, that you guys are all educated enough to continue, and also that this is an enjoyable enough experience that you want to be here, you want to be doing these things. And I don't know if I said this earlier, again, my memory, but in aiesec, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But if you guys are not, or you're like, hey, I don't want to put in the work, hey, I'm not about this anymore, I don't agree with what aiesec is all about, yada, 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 like, by all means, I will not be offended. Like, you're not stuck here, because aiesec is an organization. It's not just like any other club. You don't go for an hour each week or even once a month when they have a meeting, sit there, listen to what the people have to say, and then do nothing the rest of the week. And this really is where you do have to put in the work. And if you put in the work, you will get those outcomes of being, of growing professionally, growing personally, growing just as an individual in general. And at least for me, like, I can really, really say that has happened for me, and it is continuously happening throughout my term. Even so far, I talked to Shimon last night, actually. And I mean, I'm going to have another conversation with him, but even him saying, like, he's almost happy that we have 0 approvals, because we are forcing ourselves to, like, figure out and really learn what works, what doesn't. And that will help us grow, and that will help us become sustainable. So fill out that Google form by midnight. And yeah, we'll be in touch. Thank you.